Ahoy there. Today on the Red Sea, at the local pizza shop I work at, we have 2 phone lines. Therefore, yelling line 3 has become our code for babe in the lobby. Come check her out. We have since expanded onto line 4, which is, come look at this ducking douche. What unassuming codewords do you have? Construction worker here. Safety meeting at lunch means drink beers for the rest of the day. I use safety meeting too. Slightly different meaning but same idea. I hope you use it in the same sense I use it. Please be weed. That's what my stepdad uses it for. When I was practicing law, I used to read a lot of medical records, so I would look up / ask medical experts about a lot of acronyms and or terms that I found in medical records, so I could understand what I was reading. Over the years, and after reading many medical records, I found that doctors, especially ear docs, have abbreviations that are pretty offensive that they use. I have even heard stories about docs having to explain to patients what an abbreviation means and seriously embarrassing themselves. Some of the ones I remember: MFC measure for coffin, for someone who is not likely to survive. FF frequent flyer, comes to her often and for everything. FO's full of shite. GFPO good for parts only. VP a very important pain in the ass. AALFD another asshole looking for drugs. I wish I could remember more. There were a lot having to do with really overweight / obese patients, liars, drug addicts, and other pains in the ass. I work in a genetics lab, and samples from kids, which are now labeled as facial dysmorphism, used to be labeled FLK, which stood for funny looking kid. Working in a morgue, my head forensic pathologist has a very dark sense of humor and his own personal terms. Swiss cheese multiple stab wounds. Benson and Stabler sexual assault. Michelin man body fat's been submerged in water and bloated. Overtime homicide. Earnhardt's car fatalities. There are more, but I'm sure someone will be outraged at what I already have. Edit. Since you demanded more, suicides are classified as Cobain, gunshot, Curtis, hanging, Monroe, overdose, or Hutchins, autoerotic asphyxiation. Therapy time any case involving a dead child or infant. Dancing the Charleston elderly patient that died of natural causes. Damn shame Alzheimer's. Q time, quilt time, AIDS. Sad clown cases involving shut-ins who die and are not discovered for extended periods of time. As long as you're not ducking my loved one's body, use whatever acronyms you want to know. A couple of times I worked in the cafeteria of our student association. As we were all volunteers, we had a lot of fun. People would stand in line, grab a plate and knives, forks etc. at the beginning, and then get served by a couple of us people. Every now and then a hot chick would pass by. So good times were had. However, our friends in the back missed out on it, as they were in charge of cleaning empty plates and operating the dishwasher. They had supplies of all cutlery. Our code line for a hot chick hence became, "Hey guys, we're out of forks." This would then invariably be followed by a guy bringing a bunch of random cutlery to refill the supplies. Not empty most of the time. Best time was the one time a hot chick informed me there were no more knives. So I shouted, "Guys, we're out of forks." "No, no," I said, "knives." "Don't not worry, it'll be alright." The look of confusion on her face was priceless. We ask if you are going to the department meeting, to ask if you are going across the street for happy hour. I also had a job at a zoo once. The code for escaped animals was code zebra. Once I heard a frantic cry of code zebra Galapagos tortoise. They apparently managed to push their gate open. The franticness of it all made me spit soda out of my nose. They are not exactly fast. Code 1000. I have to pee. Code 2000. I have to shite. Code ZS. Zoo shite. I have to shite right now. It will be explosive. And if you do not get me off register immediately, you will regret it for the rest of your life. Grocery store cashier codes. I cannot stress how important such code words are for people working as cashiers. Too many times I have called for a relied cashier, but they would take their sweet time coming to the front. Sometimes they would get halfway there and see that there was no line, and turn around. Ditch, I'm about to make some rich chocolate Ovaltine up in this method occur any second. We did have some poor kid shite himself while on register, though I think it was a fart that tricked him. Gambled and lost. I hate placing that bet. Doubled down. Ended up in Browntown. When I used to work in the kitchen at TGI Fridays, we had a blackened Cajun chicken sandwich on the menu. When the line runner called out the tickets, blackened Cajun chicken sandwich took too long to say, so he shortened it to black chick sandwich. Since the kitchen was within audible range of the dining room, it was not long before our manager told us to not say black chick sandwich anymore. We had to come up with something short. So someone had the idea to call the black and Cajun chicken sandwich tuna after Tina Turner. So, a tuna naked was a black and Cajun chicken sandwich without lettuce, tomato, and onion. A Nike was a tuna with ketchup. Broken pallet also means hot woman in aisle whatever in the grocery store I used to work at. Sometimes it was announced over the intercom. I can only imagine what the lady thought when she hears it called for her aisle and she looked around and does not even see any pallets, and then a bunch of guys walk by the aisle. We do the same thing at the grocery store I work at, but we call juice instead of broken pallet. Broken juice in aisle 6. I went to a Catholic school for high school. Once the PA system turned on in the middle of the day and announced attention teachers and faculty. The Archbishop is in the building. I repeat. The Archbishop is in the building. Then the teachers all silently stopped their lectures, turned off the light, locked the doors, and closed the blinds on the windows. We were momentarily confused, but the clever kids realized we went into emergency lockdown and the Archbishop was a code word. We were told to keep quiet and the whole process was designed to avoid drawing attention to any classroom to protect the students. Turns out somebody robbed a bank nearby, tried to escape, ditched his vehicle near our school, and was thought to be hiding somewhere on our campus. Our teacher did not know anything until he texted his brother to check the news and tell him what was going on. Then he told us the details. Of course, after explaining that we were in lockdown and there was a dangerous man about, one kid raised his hand and said, "But what about the Archbishop? Is he safe?" At a local restaurant, I regularly overheard biscuit for table 6. It actually means biscuit at table 6, where biscuit is a very attractive person of either smash. Table number varies, of course. I do not understand why there's never been a biscuit at my table. Then just yell it when you're there. You need to assert dominance. "Excuse me, am I a biscuit?" Awkward waiter ensues. When we find out our bosses are out for the afternoon, we shout naked limbo and sing the Mexican hat dance, which means we're getting a fancy lunch, turning some music on, and have a full lunch hour. I think our bosses might know something is up. I used to work in a restaurant, and when we would be pointing at a hot person, we would point our index finger somewhere where no one was, like at the ceiling or something, and it would be our thumb that would be pointing at the person. Still use this at my grown-up job. Works like a charm. Mr. Nick, someone is shoplifting. Ours is security. Anyone smart enough will know we do not have security. It basically means any free person or stoker needs to man an aisle and all CSLs and managers need to block an exit until thief is apprehended and merchandise is recovered. Ours is Mr. Gray. Hilarious when 20 associates swarm one person, offering assistance. I do not shoplift, but having that many people swarm me and ask me questions about how I'm doing, I'd probably fall to the ground, crying. I get anxious enough when they knock on the doors of fitting rooms. Do not bring an empty baby stroller with you and you'll be fine. I used to be a baggage thrower for an airline. It was a relatively large airline, but I worked for the regional half of the airline, so we worked on smaller aircraft like the FRJ 328, CRJ 200s, and also the tiny Beechcraft 1900. Because we worked on small planes, there were no jetways, the tunnel you usually use to board a plane. Rather, passengers would have to be guided out on the tarmac and climb steps or a ramp onto their plane. They also would then walk on the tarmac when they would deplane. Since we all had radios to communicate with each other, we would use codes indicating the hotness of a girl getting off a plane and what spot it was at, where the plane was with the hot girl. So we would often be calling things like code 10, spot 13, and then you would get responses over the radio like copy code 10 at 13. The ramp supervisors eventually caught on to what the duck we were talking about and told us to stop calling those out. I worked as a camp counselor a few summers ago, and in order to talk about our lives outside work, we had to have some code words to talk around the kids. Playing Wii I was code for having smash, N64 was for just hooking up, blowing bubbles was code for getting high, eating jelly beans was code for drinking. Example, in front of our 10-year-old charges. So, what happened last night? Well, I went over to Austin's, and we blew bubbles for a while, and then I told him that I did not want to play Wii with him yet, but we did play N64. I ate so many jelly beans last night I feel really gross today. I threw up in my girlfriend's car. Works great, right? Also, kids are really dumb. When an OSHA inspector or other safety official came snooping around our construction site, we'd shout coffee break, and, like calling timeout during a football game, we'd all find a safe place to sit and do nothing so as to avoid getting hassled. I work at an IT center. We regularly talk about the id-10 era. meant that we were dealing with an idiot. We do EBK. Error behind keyboard. EBCAC here. Error between computer and chair. PEBKAC seems to be the most popular. Problem exists between keyboard and chair. ESO error. Equipment smarter than operator. At my work, we just call them runts. If you are reading this, you made it until the end of the video. Smash that like button if you have enjoyed it. Bam. On screen there should be some more videos similar to this. So either go do something else, or watch more videos. That's about it. There is no more here. What are you waiting for, a secret message or something? This is not a secret, but subscribe for more videos like this.